quota system is a hotly debated issue in the recruitment of government jobs in Bangladesh. In the first and second-class government jobs, including 30% freedom fighter quota, a total of 56% of the recruitment is done from the quota. Remaining 44% are recruited from general job candidates. That means genuine talent is discriminated against in these recruitments, or merit is not properly evaluated in recruitment to government jobs. The student society started a movement to demand the cancellation of the said quota system. This movement at one stage took the form of a mass uprising of the students, and at one point forced the Prime Minister of Bangladesh to resign. For the first time in 2018, there was a movement for quota. So the movement started under the leadership of Hassan Al-Mamoon, a student studying in Dhaka University, and his associates Nurul Haq Noor and Rashid Khan. In view of the first phase of the said movement, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, the National Parliament abolished the quota system. After 6 years, an anti-quota student movement started again in Bangladesh. A coordinating committee of 65 members was formed under the name Anti-Discrimination Student Movement to organize the movement across the country, where there are 23 people from various universities outside Dhaka and Dhaka. This time no single spokesperson was selected to take the movement to a strong conclusion. The anti-discrimination student movement is not a political movement, it is a movement for students' rights. Bangladesh's quota movement started on June 5, 2024. The court ruled that the circular cancelling the quota of freedom fighters in the 9th to 13th grade in the direct recruitment to government offices, literature ruled and semi-literary ruled institutions and various corporations was invalid. The next day, Dhaka University students called for a protest against the cancellation of the circular. Then from June 6 to July 13, 2024, students of various schools including Dhaka, Chittagong, Sylhet, Rajshahi, ignoring the sun and rain continued to hold various programs including boycotting classes and exams, protest marches, short-term road blockades, Bangla blockade and memorandums with the president. The students agitating for quota reform called an emergency session in the National Parliament and gave a memorandum to the president, giving the government 24 hours time to demand rational revision of the quota of all grades in government jobs. In the press conference held at Ganababan on that day, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina declared all the quota agitators as razakers. The agitators considered this comment insulting and took out beggar processions in the campuses of Dhaka, Jahangirnagar, Chittagong and Jagannath universities that night. In those processions, the students chanted slogans, "Who are you? Who am I? Rajakar, Rajakar." On Monday, July 15, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina addressed the anti-quota protesters. Don't they feel ashamed to call themselves razakers? Awami League General Secretary Obaidul Quadr commented that Chhatra League will respond to the protesters' slogans. Chhatra League is Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's student organization run by the Awami League political party. Later in the afternoon, Saddam Hussein, president of Bangladesh Chhatra League, said that he will see the end of those who raised the slogan of Rajakar in the quota reform movement. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon on that day, clashes broke out between the Chhatra League and the agitators at Dhaka University. At this time, Chhatra League activists attacked the students with weapons in their hands. Agitators were attacked and girl students were physically assaulted. In protest against this attack, the students announced a program in all educational institutions across the country on July 16 at 3 p.m. Day by day, there are massive protests and clashes across the country. The police started firing bullets at the protesters. Along with the police, the Chhatra League and the agitators were attacked. Due to the coordinated attack of the police and Chhatra League, many students were injured and killed across the country that day. Abu Saeed, a student of Begum Rokeya University, is one of them. He was shot dead by the police. That afternoon, the government deployed police and army across the country. All educational institutions, including government universities, were declared closed at night and all mobile networks were shut down at midnight. On July 18, 2024, since morning there have been protests, violence, and killings across the country. The movement continued throughout the day in 50 districts of the country, including Dhaka, in which the number of people killed in police attacks increased. The agitating students set fire to various government buildings. Finally, the government backed the quota agitators and decided to cancel it again. But the protesting students announced a 9-point movement to topple the government, demanding justice for the murder of their classmates. In addition to the students, the general public of the country joined this movement. The agitators decided to occupy the Ganababan together. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was staying at Ganababan at that time. Meanwhile, Chief of Army Staff General Waqar Zaman held an emergency meeting with other soldiers. It was decided in the meeting that the army will not fire anymore, they will stand by the students. And after this decision, the situation changed in favor of the students. People of various professions including students joined the non-cooperation movement from the morning of August 4th. Police, Awami League and Chhatra League terrorists started rioting after 11 a.m. They ambushed the beggars on the orders of Sheikh Hasina, in which around 500 students, including innocent people, died. Security was increased at Bangababan and Ganababan when the agitators gathered at various places around noon on August 5th. At that time, the army chief advised the prime minister to resign and said the situation was out of control. On the advice of the army chief, the prime minister finally decided to resign. The army chief gave Sheikh Hasina 45 minutes to leave the country. Within this time, he submitted his resignation letter to the president and left the country. Thus ended the fall of a dictatorial government from the student movement.